Vincent Collins spent several years in prison for his role in this drug trafficking operation. He was released from prison 2 years ago, but 4 months later went on the run. Now the U.S. Marshal Service needs your help tracking him down. June 2015, Prince George's County, Maryland. Vincent Collins is indicted by a grand jury for his role in a federal drug trafficking operation.
We're talking about large amounts of heroin.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Maryland breaking down the case. According to the plea agreement, over a 4-month period, Collins would receive large amounts of heroin from its operation leader for redistribution. And during that time, the organization would use the music studio Crooked House Entertainment here in District Heights, Maryland, to carry out operations.
The criminal conspiracy and participants allegedly used a music studio as a stash house.
Al Maresca is a deputy marshal with the U.S. Marshal Service. He says drug trafficking organizations will often use storefronts to conceal drug LLCs.
Anytime you have any type of drug trafficking conspiracy, there's going to be a need to cover the high level of traffic that's going to come in and out. And oftentimes criminals resort to using legitimate businesses to further their criminal enterprise.
This organization, investigators say, responsible for pushing large amounts of heroin into communities across Maryland.
Heroin is an extremely dangerous drug. Anybody who's under the influence of that narcotic can experience head nods. They can unfortunately go to a point where their system slows down so much that they overdose and pass away.
The following year, Collins entered into a plea agreement and pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute controlled substances and possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime.
Based upon his plea agreement, Collins was sentenced to serve 160 months in prison.
13 years in prison, but Collins serving about half of that sentence. So Collins was sentenced to 160 months, but he didn't serve that entire sentence.
No, in this case, he actually won his appeal.
Years after his conviction, investigators say Collins appealed his sentence. Collins argued the scale a judge used to determine the length of his sentence was inaccurate. Judges rely on sentencing guidelines, as shown in this table, weighing the seriousness of the offense with the offender's criminal history category to determine a range of months for sentencing. Investigators say Collins argued his criminal history wasn't calculated correctly. Collins won his appeal, and in October 2022,
he won his appeal, and as a result, he was released early.
But just 4 months later, investigators say Collins violated the terms of his supervised release. So he's released in October 2022. He's on supervised probation, but at some point he violates that.
So he's wanted for a violation of supervised release. In this instance, he was released from federal prison, and while he was supposed to report in with the probation officer, he failed to do so on multiple occasions.
That was in February 2023, nearly 2 years ago. Fast forward to now, Collins is 45 years old and on the run. Authorities stress he must be found.
Heroin and fentanyl are extremely dangerous drugs, and so anytime an individual is alleged to have participated in that conduct, it presents a threat to community and public safety.
Take a good look. Collins stands about 6'2" and weighs approximately 160 pounds. Investigators say he has significant tattoos on his neck and arms and warn he is known to have violent tendencies. If you have any information regarding Collins' whereabouts, you're asked to contact the U.S. Marshal Service. The number right here, 202-819-5058. Remember, you can always remain anonymous, and you could earn a reward. I'm Alexa Ashwell, and this is Maryland's Most Wanted. Thanks for watching. I'm Alexa Ashwell. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment and subscribe to our channel.